to this session of Hidden Figures. God bless you.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you here.
I'm so privileged to be. Good evening, everyone. It's a joy.
Always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you. You're looking good. I love your library, well set. A nice one. Thank you so much for having me this evening. It's been.
Thank you, Baso. You always got your.
Thank you. It's been a very busy day for me today, but I have no choice. The master's mandate, I don't have a choice. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We're going to have a blast today. It's going to be powerful because the topic we're handling gives me goosebumps. It gives me energy. I'm very passionate about what we're going to be talking about today because I love people to have peace in their relationships and sanity. Your health is your relationship. Your wealth is your relationship. Your happiness is your relationship. When you are old and frail, it's still your relationship that will keep you going. So I'm so privileged, Pastor Olive. Thank you so much for allowing me to come. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's going to be wonderful. Please don't listen alone. Share with your friends. Let everybody come on board. We're going to have a blast. This topic is very important. And we're living in a system that nobody wants to talk about toxicity. We wrap it under spirituality. So we are here today too. Sorry, I'm not preaching yet. I didn't allow you to ask questions. I know, because you just,
we love you, man. When you come with fire.
Thank you.
We're ready. We're anticipating and we're expectant.
Thank you for the
Amen.
privilege.
You're welcome. Thank you. Father, we commit this session to you.
Yes,
Let
Lord.
your name be glorified. Holy Spirit, take absolute control. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. So today the topic we're going to discuss and asking questions with Reverend Funke this evening is about toxic relationships. It's all over there. It's all there. It's in our everyday life.
It's in our nose.
Unfortunately at home, and most unfortunately in the church as well. So we don't want to. When you say there's an elephant in the room, there's an issue. We don't want to sweep it under the carpet because it's causing too much havoc, to us, to people personally, and of course to women in ministry, women across the board, and of course men, because men watch Hidden Figures. Everybody watches Hidden Figures, not only those who are primarily called into ministry, but those who love God, who are kingdom servants. They have come to love the program and they watch because they have been so blessed and empowered. And I know at one point in time, from one's childhood to adulthood, you find yourself either directly or indirectly in a toxic relationship, and a lot of people don't know how to handle it. Yes.
Thank you.
I believe God has sent you to us to be able to deal with this situation. Yes. And then my first question to you this evening is, what is that word toxic? What is the meaning? And how does one identify toxic relationships? What are the red flags?
Well, as a matter of fact, when you're in a relationship, there's supposed to be peace, sanity, serenity. You must be real in your relationship. You must be happy. You must be able to be yourself. You don't have to wear a mask when you are relating with anyone. The moment you are beginning to mask, you want to just walk on eggshells. You want to be careful. You don't know what you would do. You don't know what you will say. You begin to feel a little bit of mental distress, emotional distress, psychological distress. Then it means that you are toxic. You can't fly. You can't be free. You can't explore. You can't touch yourself. In that relationship, it's a red flag. And when we're looking at I have 6 points here to know that you're in a toxic relationship. Number 1, the person will be unnecessarily obsessive. You can't breathe. You can't have a breath of fresh air. You cannot be yourself. I said it before. The person must know where you are, what you are doing. It's just obsessive. You are out, is asking you, where are you? Doing video call. I need to see you. What's going on here? The person is not secure. The level of insecurity is 0. Now, even if you're trying to become anything, you are trying to probably go into business, or you're going to school, you are trying to be something, the person is still on your throat, even when you are as good as focused. Probably you are even in ministry and you are passionate about your ministry and you are so committed to what you're doing, and the person is telling you, that brother that is close to you, something must be wrong. You are asking yourself, excuse me. With this passion, with this mandate, with this zeal, with this enthusiasm, with this, everything is there, and the person is still thinking you are acting out. You are just wondering, can I have a break, because I don't want to break. You know that you're in a toxic relationship. That person is unnecessarily obsessive. You want to know your friends, you want to, that friend, it begins to, you don't have peace, you don't have some peace. That relationship will give you no peace, no joy. And some of these things, they are not something you can explain to people. It's an internal struggle. It's a battle. Now, especially when we Christians, where I have most challenges is we're Christians, and they have used Christianity to mop up a lot of things and make us feel as if, let's even look at our relationship with God. God said, I've given you the privilege to choose it this day. So even if God that sees everything, he can go into the nook and the crannies of your life, and he sees everything, and he still allow you to choose, making you to know that, well, if you do wrong, it's your life. If you're not doing wrong, it's your life. How much more when you're in a relationship with someone? Now, don't get me wrong. It can be toxic not only when you are in a relationship with your spouse. It can be toxic in parenting. I'm going to talk about that. It can be toxic in association. It can be toxic with your boss. It can be toxic with your friend. So we're not limiting it to marriage relationship alone. But one thing is that the person is stalking you, is checking on you, is insisting, are you with an opposite sex? Who is there with you? Who are you looking at? Why are you looking at that lady? Why are you looking at that guy? You're just choked up. A relationship has to be personal, it has to be individualistic. You must have the privilege to have life. You understand? And when you are no more having life, I'm not saying you should not be accountable. I'm not saying you should not have people in your life that can hold you responsible and tell you that this is good, this is not good. But what I'm talking about is someone that is not even allow you to be real, to be yourself. You have to keep walking on eggshell and tiptoeing around that relationship. Then there is something that is wrong in there. They are very obsessive. They don't want you to have friends that it's just them. They don't want you to have friends. They don't want you to relate with any other person. It has to be themselves alone, even in other relationships. So if you are not free, now the challenge about this is the fact that a lot of people are insecure. It is our insecurity, and maybe if I have time I can go to the foundation, but it's our insecurity that really makes us to be thinking that this person cannot breathe, this person cannot, you're afraid of if the person is going to let you down, let you go, and all of that. So that's number one. The person is just not giving you peace of mind. You are losing it all the time. When you have to relate with that person, sometimes you have to lie to keep sane. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Sometimes you have to lie. I don't have to lie in any relationship. If I'm not in bondage, Probably you want to go to this place, you have to lie that you are going to that place because you have to branch in that place. Because if you branch in the other place, he would ask questions and you have to keep explaining yourself. So you just keep, managing the relationship in a very, very bad way. It's not really good to be in that relationship. Number one, I said obsessive behavior or obsessive behavior. You can write it down. When you are very obsessive, you are not, nobody is breathing, you are not free. I'm not talking about not being accountable. Please don't get me wrong, because we need to balance things like this when we're talking about relationship. You have to be accountable. You must not do things that people will start querying your integrity and your credibility and all of that. But when it comes to the dimension of unnecessarily being obsessive of you, then you are definitely in a toxic relationship. And what happens is when people are like that, they don't really want you to be free, because they don't believe in themselves, and they know they are struggling. So that struggle is what is infiltrating into their relationships. You understand what I'm saying? It's infiltrates there because they are actually emitting their struggle. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? They are meeting their struggle, so they think because of their insecurity, they want to be in charge, they want to be in control, and they want the person to keep, fueling them and giving them energy and all of that. So definitely anytime you feel like that he wants unnecessary attention, you have to now. Don't get me wrong, there's always need for balance when we talk like this, because some people don't really know how to balance information. Now if you are married, of course your husband needs to know your whereabouts and your movement, but you still not being uncomfortable with that. That this is an act of love, this is care, not being unnecessarily obsessive. The extreme jealousy, that's the next one. Extreme jealousy, he suspect that you are cheating on him. He's telling you who is that person that is beside you. He checks your phone, check your WhatsApp messages, check your call log. Actually, sometimes they code your WhatsApp communication, they code your phone. Some of them, recently, I need to say this on a lighter mode. Recently, I saw an app that they were talking about, know where your spouse is. I said, excuse me. I'm sure I'm so sorry. The person that invented that app must be someone that is toxic, because, it's power of creativity. Don't let me judge anybody here. It's a power of creativity. But having to download that app and pay for that app is like... Now, there are cheaters too. We need to balance. When we talk like this, there is a need for balancing. Because now, let me say this. Maybe that would help people that are extremely jealous. We have something. We have an intuition. Everybody has a power of perception. When you are in a relationship, especially marriage relationship, to some extent, if there's an extramarital relationship, if something is wrong somewhere, you sense it. You may not be able to place your finger on it. It's different from being in a toxic relationship. I love to balance things because I teach, and I don't want people to start assuming that, because of being a toxic relationship, now we're saying that if you have to be protective. Now, being protective is different from being extremely jealous. I think that balances it. Being protective is different from being extremely jealous. I can protect what I have. I have a right to protect my spouse. But when it becomes an obsession, it becomes, I can't sleep, I have to check your phone, I have to know where you are, when you are sleeping. I handled a case. It pains me to my marrow. Do you know that as soon as that woman goes to work and come back, the husband will pick her underwear, pants, and check if, wow, that is wow. Because we don't discuss some of our cases and claims, you don't really know things that we listen to. Let me give you another one. I'm just talking about being extremely jealous and, it's just possessive and jealous. There was a case of, should I say it here? Well, I didn't, no name, no face, no identity. One of the oath of our profession is to keep secrets and all. In this case, this lady just chose to say, well, the man, and don't forget, hurting people hurt people. This guy was acting out. It's a different thing when you are extremely jealous and it's you and your spouse. That's toxicity in a way. It's you and him, it's you and her, vice versa. And that there's nothing. Everybody, we are playing our games right. Do you understand? But in this case, the woman knew that her husband was acting out, had several, multiple sexually infected diseases, all sorts, STD, all sorts. So she was just like, I don't want to have sex with this guy anymore. I'm done. I'm tired. So she bought a sex toy. Now, she told me where she kept that sex toys. There is no one that would have looked for it. But, I've heard it from someone that you can always find you can't find what you are not looking for. So if you are looking for something, you will find it. Guess what? This man took the sex toy, poured fresh pepper, the hottest one on the fresh toy, on the sex toys. Yes. Yes. She said for days she could not sit down. She was everywhere in pain. People's story. Another person says the husband would always check her panties when that is toxic. You constant, your spouse will have to be telling you, trust me, trust me. When you are in a relationship and the person is saying, can you please trust me, please trust me, you are in a toxic relationship. You know, trust is a choice. You choose to trust. Relationship that is not built on trust cannot last. So that person is extremely jealous. He checks everything. He talks about, he checks your text messages. You know, he's just not want to allow you to be you. Then he wants attention 24/7. An abuser wants to keep your attention to them alone. Now, another challenge is that when they are like this, extremely jealous, what happens is that you can't even relate with your friends. You can't relate with your parents. They isolate you. They cut you off good relationships. Because they know the moment they have you to themselves, they can deal with you. They can deal with you. And they crave power. They want to have power. They want to be in control. Have you noticed? I have cases of men. There was a lady, I'm sure she's watching me now. Her husband is so toxic that she doesn't go for shopping. So she does not have 1,000 naira or £1 with her. The man buys everything, put food in the house, pay for the internet, pay for the DSTV, pay everything. She said, Mommy, if I have something, I will run. I will leave. And he has kids. Recently, she had a relationship that was kind of giving her comfort, you know, making her comfortable and all of that. Guess what? The man did something that the woman just blocked her. She sent me a text, said, Mommy, I don't even know what I did now. The only woman I'm talking to in the neighborhood has blocked me. You know what the man would do? He would destroy your image before the people that are close to you to avoid you relating with them. Relating with you. So she just told me, I mean, she sent me a message today. I'm just thinking, how do I help this girl? I wish I can just have 1 million naira, just give to her and say, run for your dear life. Because basically, she has been using antidepressants. She's no more sleeping. She's in pain. She's tortured. She's tortured as I'm talking to you. Because she's losing it. I said the man comes home once in a week, bring women to her matrimonial bed, and she can't leave because she's not empowered. And that's why I tell women, you know, one of my latest books, you can't find it yet on Amazon. Enough. Take your life back after many years of abuse. I said it, you have to plan your exit if you are not working. One of the things a toxic person would do is to cut you off your life source, resources. I told her, I said, now, excuse me, you know, don't get me wrong. I need to balance this. A relationship where there is transparency, where there is you have vulnerability, you are good to fly. But when it comes to you are killing me, you are unnecessarily jealous of me, I'm not even living. There's no empowerment. She cannot go to his business place. She cannot do anything to have another life. That is toxic. Please excuse yourself. And they isolate you. They isolate you intentionally because they need that control. They have to be in charge. Then they play mind game. Oh my days. That's the third one, mind game. I hope somebody is writing it down. They play mind game. It makes you feel like you are going crazy. It makes you feel you are going crazy. Because when you are in a relationship that is toxic and is doubting your reality. Oh my days. Let me share this with you. I was with, you know, there's a lady that I was with. And she actually called me and said, Mom, this person is having an affair with this person. And somebody gave me heads up that he's going to be there at so time. That, Mommy, can you follow me? I said, no, I can't. But let me allow one of my staffs to follow you and, you know, make sure that, you know, the guy was at the reception before they came in, took pictures and all of that. And he did not know. I'm just saying this in public. And at the end of the day, this guy was still saying, you must be crazy. You are not serious. I was at work. I mean, the way this guy was, the woman was almost saying, am I mad? If not for the fact that the person that went to monitor their movement to the hotel room was able to take pictures, she would have doubted even the picture. The way the man came to confront her, she was almost doubting the picture. Then when you have an argument, you can never win.
Mind game.
They play mind game. That mind game is crazy. They act as if it never happened. That was why I gave you that example. They made you doubt your reality of what has happened. And that's why some men, they stay long in infidelity in their marriages, and the wife will not know. The spouse, the husband or wife. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not gender based. The husband will not know, the wife will not know, because of the kind of game that is being played. They make sure that you are questioning your reality, you are going crazy, you are just not okay, because until the person brought out the picture of the man acting out, he did not even apologize. He said, so if I have a conference meeting in the hotel with my staff, does it mean we went to sleep with each other? I said, excuse you, pack your things and leave quick. Now that's scary. Even with the evidence, nothing is happening. No changes, no effort, no apologies, nothing. Hey, I'm coming to some things today. I'm going to shake some tables because we need to understand some things. Now, the reason why they play mind game is because they want to get complete control over you. They are control freak, actually. They want to take control over you. They don't want you to survive in this life. And when you are feeling crazy, sometimes you keep quiet. Especially when they have, most of them, when they have power, maybe they are professionals, they are doctors, they are lawyers, they are bankers, or they are pastors, they are in a position of authority. You don't want to truncate. Now, the question is, you don't want to mess up their career. You don't want to be, because you are the only one seeing it, you are the only one sensing it, you are the only one perceiving it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You are the only one that is, I mean, it's like something is wrong. Help me. I may not put my fingers there, I may not be able to lay hold on it, but something is wrong somewhere. And those perceptions, those intuitions are shut down completely, and they are told it's not there. You are hallucinating. They might even make you to think that you are really losing it, or you are going crazy. Now, why they do this is because they want you to be weakened psychologically. That's why they play mind game. They want you to be weakened. They want to weaken your mental. They want to weaken your emotions. They want to weaken your convictions. They want you to lose it in a way that by the time you are trying to say it to anybody, people will start questioning. Oh, I have cases. You know, it happens in the UK. One of these therapy I was doing for a lady, her husband actually would torture her, play the mind game. When she snaps and she reacts, she had to call the cops that she's losing her mind. They have to take that woman to a psychiatric hospital, and she was sane. But the man has so much played this mind game that made her to actually, they started giving her antidepressant medication, and there was nothing wrong with her until she was privileged to just chat me up, and I started asking. Now I'll talk about that later. I started asking her questions. I said, you are not losing your mind. Let's have a look at this episode, this that happened, this, that, and that. What is the issue? She now told me that, ma, multiple times I have had these convictions, and it made me to doubt my reality. So now it makes me to feel I'm losing my mind. And she gave me several examples. I said, excuse me, you are not losing your mind. Tell them in the hospital you are not losing your mind. Tell them to give you a psychologist. So when she now opened up, she just checked out and she started therapy with me. Because sometimes, at least, you know, whatever it is, a trained psychologist will know that this person is not losing her mind. This is the reality of what has happened, and she had evidences. And that's why if you're in a toxic relationship, your proof is very important. Your proof is extremely important, because sometimes you look so stupid and foolish if you don't have your evidences. I don't say this often in public, but I say it a lot when I'm doing private therapy for people. Then verbal abuse. It keeps criticizing every time you say something. Are you smart? You are not intelligent. Are you a dummy? You don't have what? The third one is verbal abuse. criticizing every time you say
The
something.
fourth one. Okay.
The fourth one, is it the fourth one? You know me, I lose count because of the way I'm, going.
It's the fourth one.
The fourth one is
It's the
verbal.
fourth one.
Is the third one?
We are keeping that.
Is it the
Yes,
fourth
sir.
one? Verbal
It's the fourth one. Number
fourth,
4.
okay. That's the D.
Yeah, fourth.
Verbal abuse.
Yes.
It keeps criticizing you every time you say something. The level of criticism is crazy. Now, if the person criticizing you he has integrity or is better than you, is a different thing. You are seeing so much of his flaws and his mistakes and his error. He or she, don't get me wrong, it is not only in marriage relationship. I don't want us to zero it. Even in parenting can be toxic. So I don't limit it to marriage, please. But everybody needs to be affirmed, to be validated, to be seen as someone that is doing something. But if you are in a relationship that constantly the person is putting you down, interrupting you, when you speak, it picks your error, your grammar, the English that is not correct, it keeps eating you, eating your bones, eating your marrow. Before you know it, you are having constant headache, you are having anxiety, panic, you are feeling apprehensive, your tummy is just not settled, you are roughened, you are playing with cancer. It is toxic. It is heavily toxic. When he talks, when you are having a conversation, he makes you feel that you are is more superior. You don't know what you are saying. Even if I don't know what I'm saying, it's marriage. Iron sharpens iron. It's friendship. Let's sharpen each other. I hate feeling intimidated and feeling insecure in any relationship. Excuse me, even if I can't speak your type, I may not be able to speak Queen's English or speak phonetics, but I'm speaking and you're understanding. And if you don't want to understand, that's your headache. I know I'm communicating. You understand what I'm talking about? But in this situation, it keeps attacking you. And it's crushing your self-esteem. And I've seen people that they have so much potentials, they have the power to actually deliver, but because of the toxicity in the relationship, they shrunk in. Because you don't know what you would do, you don't know how you will say it. And now, don't get me wrong. I always want to balance. There is a place in your relationship that the person is mentoring you, confronting you, and comforting you, validating you, and help you to check your help you to check your excesses and your mistakes. They are two different things. Please, the person that is toxic will always not validate you, appreciate you, celebrate any effort. You are always he's always looking for fault, and we shouldn't be a fault finder. We should be a path finder. You shouldn't be a fault finder. So when you keep picking every wrong, you are just picking faults, you are saying this and that, is attacking your self-worth, attacking your self-esteem, and making you feel you don't have a purpose. And they do it intentionally. The relationship is toxic, and they always do that to actually attack your self-esteem, and they do it intentionally. They insult you and criticize you to have you have low self-esteem. And listen to me, if you develop low self-esteem, you are stuck. It takes a woman and a man that has confidence to say, I'm done. It's enough. I can't take it. It takes a level of worth and value and self-worth to stand up and keep yourself and say, no, this can't continue. Am I still communicating? Are you getting what I'm saying there? Right. You are getting me? Thank you.
Loud and clear.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Because it takes believing in yourself to pursue your goals and your dream and your vision and all of that. It takes that, but they will manipulate you to stay in a toxic relationship, and they will tell you, if you leave me, nobody can get you. I'm the only one that has the ability and the capacity to manage your excesses and your nonsense. Now, toxic people is a mental illness. It's actually a mental illness. It's a mental illness. So you need to understand that you are not dealing with somebody that is emotionally healthy here. When you have that understanding, you might actually save yourself. There are relationships you can't go back there. You can't, because the person will not change. That's the truth. The person, you know, in the class of some personality disorder, because what changes a man is, oh, I'm wrong, I didn't do it well, I'm sorry. A person that has this kind of personality, who is toxic in his relationship or a relationship, will not say sorry, because they don't have reasons to say sorry. They don't apologize. You tell them, wait now, this is family, this is your wife, this is your husband, this is your son, this is your daughter. Do something, be calm, let's deal with it. You say nothing is wrong, I'm right. Now, even God says that if you continue to be rebuked and you stiffen your neck, you shall be suddenly destroyed without remedy. And God said a broken and a contrite heart he will not despise. So when you come to a place of confrontation and it is obvious, and you are still trying to rationalize or give an alibi, then you are good to go. Number 4, is it the 5th one? Number 5, intimidation. They keep
number
5, intimidation. The person threatens you with a knife or smash things against the wall.
Hey.
They are not touching you yet, but they are telling you that if you try me, you will die. If you come here, I'll hit you. They won't touch you yet. They won't be physical yet, but they are making you to feel, hey, death is close. If I try to do anything or say anything here, it can be physical. So anytime your partner smashes or breaks something, or or get aggressive about anything, you just have to be careful because of his angry outbursts. And you'll be afraid to make them angry. So you feel scared anytime he shows or bring out the tantrums. You feel so scared, and you tell yourself, it terrifies you to just say, well, come, you are not living anywhere, die there, stay there, kill yourself there. But that is not it. We're going to talk about how to be out. Then the intimidation has a way of making you feel like, making you feel like a victim. That's a victim. Oh, you now start throwing pity party. Please help me. They want to, they just want to maintain the power so that their partner will not leave them and stay and leave them out of. They want them to be in the relationship for life. That's it. And we are living in a culture that does not really allow us to. Now there are two extremes. When I talk in a public place like this, I try to be balanced. There's still a dimension of correction, changing, working on yourself, building your character and attitude via someone that you look up to, or a mentor, or a relationship, or in parenting. But when it comes to relationship and it's like you are smashing things, you are throwing things, you're aggressive, the anger outburst is humbling, is scary, then you need to know that there's something wrong somewhere. So that's what they do. They actually, is it intimidation? What was the last one I said? The last one was intimidation, right? Is that the last one? Intimidation. Then the next one is physical abuse.
That was the 5th one.
The 5th one.
Yes.
The 6th one is physical abuse. When it gets really angry and it slaps you once. Listen, when your spouse, your spouse or whoever slaps you once, please don't encourage the second slap. Don't encourage it. Don't encourage it. Because now when they do it once, they cry, apologize, I'm sorry, I will not do it again, please forgive me, blah blah blah. They do it again. They do it the second time. They keep apologizing. Now, like I said, don't allow the second one. But there's a situation where which someone can actually have anger issue that is not really toxic, maybe because of frustration, the person lashed out and all of that. Now, that is the first one. Well, but when it is consistent, you do it on a consistent basis, and the person, I'm sorry, tomorrow I'm sorry, next tomorrow I'm sorry. We had a case of a lady that died via this toxicity and all of that. And one of the guys, I actually intentionally went through the story and followed it up. The guy said one day they were at the studio, they were recording, and they didn't know what happened. the man just slapped his wife. The man said he wanted to react. The woman knelt and said, please, sorry. He has anger problem. And he will change. Anger problem, my foot.
Wow.
Yes. Everyone that has been in an abusive, in a toxic relationship actually allowed it to continue. They allowed it. They allowed it because of shame. I'm going to talk about, there's a question you asked me here that I'm going to answer very, very well. But let me finish the issue of, what was the one I was discussing now? Physical abuse. The moment it comes to beg and apologize consistently, call your family, call everybody, tell him I'm sorry, tell her I'm sorry. And it's the moment you sense it, that this is a circle, please exit. When you get to the morgue, you cannot explain yourself anymore. When you get to the mortuary, you can't explain yourself. Now, the painful thing is, when that episode of the beating started, she was slapped. The other guy wanted to react. They were together at the studio, and the person just said, sorry. He knelt down, and he began to apologize on behalf of the husband that slapped her. That he will grow. He's just dealing with anger issue. Stop. We call, and now anybody that is married to a toxic person is actually in a way an enabler. They try to fix everything. They fix, they don't want people to know. They hide things. They want to cover up because of the culture. I'm going to talk about culture, tradition, religion. They don't want to. They say, now, have you seen ladies? It happens everywhere. They have blood red. The husband slapped them and they had blood eye, red eye. And they get to the office and say, I was working on the wall and I brushed my eyes on something. Or they wear shade. Or they cover the mark of the physical abuse. They cover it because they don't want people to know. Now, it's as bad as when some of them have been physically abused and the toxic person is abusing their children. I had a case of a woman that her husband was sleeping with her daughter, and that girl is just 6 years old. We actually did medical checkup for that 6-year-old girl. We have all the videos and everything. Do you know that the girl's private part was as good as she had had 4 children, and it was the husband that was doing it. Now, the girl tells us that the man would use handkerchief to cover her mouth and do whatever he wanted to do. And this man was, I made sure that the cops got him. He was apprehended by the cops. And they were going to take him to court. Do you know that this woman was begging me? After each of my program in a public place, I would say about 30 people kneeling down, begging me he said, ma, and don't let me take my husband to the prison. What will people say? Even a king in a particular part of Nigeria called me and was appealing to me. A king that should not let the man go to jail. With all the proofs and the evidences, the case went silent. But the challenge I have is, can that case be silent in the life of that child? People should think before they do some things. I'm upset a little bit. As a matter of fact, by the time the apologies come, the man kept begging, I'm sorry, I will not do it again. Now, the point is, the relationship, they've separated now. So, what she was trying to avoid still happened. They're separated already. Because the man now came back. When people are toxic, it's a terrible thing. The man came back and started accusing her. You took me to the police station. I was in cell for some days. With that magnanimous offense. That tells you that human beings, they are very delicate. So when he keeps constantly apologizing and asking for forgiveness, this is a mental illness. Tell that person to get a professional help. Hear me today. If you are in a relationship that is toxic, and you really want the relationship, get a counselor, get a therapist. Now, let me say this. I don't know how many there are audience. I don't know how many people watching. But the point is that if you're an African is only an African therapist, counselor that can help you because of culture, because of tradition, and because of religion. Because our culture allows some things. So, and the person has to be professional. And the person is not going to be on your side, on the toxic person's side. The person has to be intentional and make sure that what is important is total restoration and recovery. People can still recover if the person in question is ready to take the bull by the horn and work on the relationship. If not, please exit yourself. Separation is different from divorce. Probably after some years of separation, a toxic person can have a rethink. You can actually tell the person, you know what, I'm done. Do me a favor, seek help. Let me also seek help. Let's do something. Now, if the person is seeking help from a professional, a person that knows his onions and all of that, and you are also doing that, your therapist will know when you are ready to come back. It's so simple. But when the signs are still there and the relationship is still toxic and nothing has changed, then the therapist will tell you, if the person respects his profession and he doesn't want to lose his license, he will just tell the person, I'm being honest with you, I think you should take a bow, you should excuse yourself. And of course, definitely, if that happens, you are good to go. Now, people, because of our culture, because of our tradition and all of that, we hardly want to relate. You are asking another question, so I will answer that. So please don't tolerate any form of physical abuse in your relationship. It's toxic when it's beaten. Yes, I know the next question is how and why does a relationship becomes toxic? Because the relationship don't start as toxic.
Yes.
That's your next question. Now let me explain this to us. It's a little bit long, but I will try and put it in an encapsulated form. Our background growing up makes us toxic. Every child comes to the world blank. It is what they play back to that child that the child plays back to the world. And the challenge I have, in all honesty, is that parenting is important in anybody's life. If you are from a dysfunctional home, polygamy or monogamy, you are toxic. I intentionally said monogamy because a lot of people think, oh, dad and mom, they're together, they wear the same uniform to church, to mosque, they are good people, they are moralists, they love them in the neighborhood, they are the mother of this particular culture, group in church, they are in charge of, we have a way of, massaging some things and putting things in point. But the point is, in a monogamous home, where children are not heard, where children are not respected as an individual, while you are raising your kids and you assume that A is the same as B and C and D, and you don't treat them personally, you don't treat them as an individual, there is trouble. You are raising toxic children. And it takes a healthy, emotionally healthy parent to raise an emotionally healthy children. Now, let me give you a practical example. This woman that her husband would check her underwear if she was acting out, would she come home and be a good mother? Now, the two of them are still together. Will she not transfer aggression? Will she not be angry? Will she not be treating those kids as if they were the one that caused the problem? Because we are not wired to bottle up pain. We are not wired to bottle up torture or any form of abuse. So because of that, you lash out. You lash out in anger. Now, this is monogamy. Now, and there's no relationship that does not have challenges. So the point is, in parenting, you must be emotionally matured. That's why, please, whatever it is, do everything to get into a professional counseling get a person that will help you. At least that person will be your venting place when you are in a toxic relationship. Oh, I'm going back to that again.
Yeah.
Now, when you are in a toxic relationship, you need someone you can be venting with. Now, the person will not judge you. But let me continue with parenting. There's so much in my heart. Now, when it comes to parenting and a child is raised, I know, so much to say in just 1 hour. You know, there are some things that when you are growing your kids and you are not letting them to be a person or an individual, you are breeding toxicity in them, because everybody has what we call survival instinct. Survival instinct. For instance, the one that beats or get angry and hits the table and all of that, probably when the child was growing up, that was the only way the child can get attention, when it throws tantrums. You understand what I'm trying to say? When it throws tantrums, that is the only time people know that, this person is angry, this person is upset. Now, if you raise a child like that, it's going to be toxic. Now, the reason why it does not show when people are relating is because there are 14 invisible people that goes into marriage, and there are 7 stages in every relationship. Everybody is James Bond, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee in courtship. So everybody hides their personality and they hide their personalities and they pretend. And that's why you have to be careful. There are people that will ever tell their friends that my husband is quiet in courtship. Oh, nice. He helps you to open the door of your car. He's trying to pamper you, you know, hoovering you. Excuse me. As a matter of fact, let me say this to the younger ones, especially the singles that are watching me. The moment or listening to me, the moment you are feeling uncomfortable about the over-loving, over-caring, everything, you are just wondering, is this thing real? Am I dreaming? Is it real? Please listen to your heart. Follow your heart, not your emotions. So let me allow you to be asking those questions so that I can, you know, so everybody asking that the reason why it doesn't show at the beginning of the relationship is because everybody pretends and acts. In courtship, you know few. In marriage, you know the rest. Now you're going to live the rest of your life with this person, even no matter how much he's pretending and hiding. After some time, he will let loose. You will know that he snores. You will know that he doesn't flush after he has done the, you know what I'm saying? You begin to see the reality of the person. That's the truth. So that is where adaptability, and we are not talking about relationship now, so don't let me go into that. That's where adaptability and adjustability comes in. But basically, it doesn't show at the beginning of relationship because we are acting. Yeah, let me allow you to ask the next question.
Thank you so much, man.
My pleasure.
Powerful. Wow. I'm trying to contain myself my seats. Relationship, toxicity, there are dimensions of relationships.
Yes.
Friendship starts and then become toxic, and then divine relationships start and then become toxic, and everybody goes their separate ways. Of course, marriage.
Even siblings.
Within the family, with the siblings and parents and children, as you have mentioned. So I want to ask that, how can we, is there a role that the church leadership can play, or members, individuals in this relationship can help to prevent toxicity in these relationships? Sometimes you see some relationships that they're just like heaven on earth, and down the line things just go south. Is there some way we can Can we talk a bit about prevention? Is it possible?
We can actually prevent it if we are bold enough and we have enough self-esteem. It takes a kind of inner strength, security, having a worth, know your self-esteem to confront. Weak people don't confront. It's a level of strength to confront. And when you are confronting, you must be intentional. You must communicate. Now, confrontation can be not communicating. Just keep quiet. You are not talking. Then you are not going to make progress. You understand? Now, the best way to confront is to talk more about your feelings. I'm talking about relationship. Now, anybody can be toxic, actually. I just mentioned those 6 points. Anybody can be toxic, which might not be even intentional. It could be frustration. It could be misunderstanding. You understand? It may not really be consistent in what I'm saying about those points I made. It might not be like the issue of maybe hitting the table or hitting the person. It might not be consistent. But in a relationship that you have, like family, friends and all, you must be able to express your discontentment about that attitude. Now, it takes maturity to confront. I said it. You need to be mature to confront. Because most times when you are trying to confront, it deteriorates. And you just say, okay, let me just be. Sometimes it's like that. But if you are able to allow time for people to process it, to discuss it, come back to discuss again. Now, there are some words you don't use when you are in relationship. Now, let me say this. Any relationship that somebody did something to you and you try to bring it out is a sign that you still want the relationship to move on. That's a bad part of relationship. If you hurt me now and I kept quiet, it means that nothing more. That's fine. Let's leave it like that. But if I'm still interested in that relationship and I still want it to work, I will have to confront. I'll have to bring it out and say, excuse me, what you said the other time, what you did the other time is not, it didn't go well with me. That is one. Then at times, sometimes God bring people into your life. If you watch one of my episode of saying God is not toxic, I gave an example of Joseph. I gave an example of Potiphar's wife. I gave an example of Joseph who never did wrong and they still lied against him. That was not the devil. That was not toxicity. That was God taking you to your glory land. So sometimes I love to balance a lot when I talk like this. Sometimes God brings people into our lives to help us to cover our excesses and make us to grow and develop and work on our weaknesses. That's one side. So if God brings someone, okay, there was a time some brethren, they went to pray that, they were praying about the fruit of the spirit, love, joy, long suffering, blah, blah, blah. So they were medical students. They went on a retreat just to pray for the fruit of the spirit, and they prayed for hours. On getting back home, the guy has prepared meal that after this 3 days retreat, my freezer, he has made his food and everything. By the time he was coming back from the retreat, the fridge was empty by his friend in the room. You know what I mean? And he wanted to blast out. And the Holy Spirit said, but you prayed for long suffering. You prayed for the fruit of the spirit. So sometimes, yes, it's a test. Sometimes God bring people to your life to help you to jettison, to drop weight, to drop your excesses. It's possible. If you know that, if you appreciate that, you will know that God is dealing with you. So it is not every relationship, friends, family, even husband, you can just conclude that this is toxic. That's why I will always emphasize counseling and therapy. I will always emphasize counseling and therapy. I will say it 1,000,000 times. You need a place, a natural person, an umpire, somebody that is not prejudiced, is not biased, is not on your side, is not on the person you are fighting side. You are just, trying to be there for people, for the person in question to listen to. So the moment that happens, your mind will be settled. You will just know that, okay, this is not toxic, this is growing, this is spiritual maturity, this is a process of growing. Now let's go back to the issue of dimension of stopping it or not letting it continue. Now, for you not to continue, number one, you study people when you are relating. I can't finish that today. You need to know people. You must know their strengths and their weaknesses. Probably one of the days we can talk about strengths and weaknesses and all of that. We need to know people.
Okay.
You have to understand who that person is. Now, we have 4 basic personality types. We have the thinker, the talker, the boss, and the detailed. If you are dealing with someone that is introverted, he will dot the I's and cross the T's. He will check your motive, your intentions. Now, it's a weakness on that person's temperament, but there's no temperament that is bad. You work on your weaknesses and build your strength. So there's no personality that is bad. So don't complain and say, oh, this person is really not nice, blah blah blah. No, there's no personality that is bad. I'm rushing now because I know where now you talked about, did you talk about church? How do you deal with toxic relationship and find peace in?
Yeah.
The answer is
yeah.
How do you deal with toxic relationship and find peace, if possible, restoration? It's possible. Therapy, counseling, get a professional help. Now, it's only physically we don't respect. It's only here. I don't understand why people will not respect a professional. If you have headache now, the next thing you are taking an analgesic. The same thing, emotional headache. Your emotional life is as tangible as your physical health. So for people to just assume that they cannot, they don't need help, they don't need therapy, they don't need counseling, is an abuse of yourself. It's an abuse of the dimension of divinity that God has provided. He said he has given us all that pertain to life and godliness. Part of life is get a professional help. There can be restoration 1 million times, but get a professional help. Let somebody be an umpire. Now, I have people all over the world that I do therapy for, and as they asked me, as simple as a friend of mine is coming in, he has abused me before, he was not there for me, should I let him in? And I will say, well, letting him in to come and live with you before he settled in America can be very, very discomforting, because there are issues that have not been resolved. And that's one thing we do. The first therapy sessions, we ask questions, we probe into the core of your soul. And that's why if you go to a doctor too, if you go to see a medical doctor, the first thing they will do is to clock you. And that is about your physical health. What about your emotional health? It's the same. When you are able to understand that, you are free to fly. Because you know that, okay, this person knows me, this person understands me, then I can be helped. So you can be restored if there is you can have peace and serenity when you are in a toxic relationship. But you have to seek help. You can't, if you are sick naturally, you get to see a doctor. It's the same thing with emotional sickness. You get a doctor. Thank you.
Yeah.
The final question.
Yeah. Wow. This is hot. I wish we could continue, but time is
we are limited to time.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. We have been tremendously blessed, inspired, empowered, and of course, definitely knowledge has been deposited. We've been educated. We have learned, we have unlearned, and we have relearned this evening. Thank you, ma'am, for being such a blessing. When I was introduced, I said you're a multi-dimensional woman. And I thank you the way you were able to bring the balances in. In fact, I was trying to write and scribble, we have thinkers, talkers, boss, and all that. The 6 red flags you mentioned: obsessive behavior, extreme jealousy. So there's so much. So it's there on YouTube for those of us who are in the audience. And please share the link. Share. And you see this. Let
me just drop one word before I leave, because the leadership and the church. There's a question you asked. I will do it in 3 minutes. Please, church should not spiritualize abuse or toxicity. They should not. A lot of people say prayerful, be prayerful. When you have to seek help, please do, before it becomes a time bomb. Thank you. But because it's a tickling bomb, actually. And that's why when people divorce, you are wondering, why are we separated? You have been sitting on stuffs. No time. Thank you so much for giving this privilege. I'm so grateful. I'm sincere.
Thank you, ma'am. Always an honor to have you. Thank you, everyone online. Thank you so much. Please go back. It's there on YouTube. You have the link. click on it and listen again and share. And remember, we all need help. If physically you're sick, you have a problem, go to the doctor. Psychologically, mentally, emotionally, you're sick, there are people at hand. Look for a counselor or a therapy and find somebody who understands your culture. Wow, there's so much. Thank you, ma. Just as we close, can you just quickly share a word of prayer with us, and then we'll close.
Father,
this
tonight we
today.
release
This
grace. The Bible
edition,
says you will give grace and glory. Lord Jesus, I ask you for grace for everyone going through any form of toxicity in the name of Jesus. There's a woman there, you are actually tired, you have gotten into the peak. The Lord said to me, there's a woman here, you have gotten to the peak of your pain. Please seek help. Send me a DM. My funkeadetuberu is my handle on Instagram. Just send me a DM. Let's talk about it. You know, I've not talked about raising children. There's so much that has to be said on this particular topic. Jehovah, I pray for that heart. You will restore her soul. You will give her rest. You give every woman at the sound of my voice rest, even in the area of their struggles, in the name of Jesus. Every plan of the enemy to run you crazy and make you lose your mind, I truncate it in the name of Jesus. The Bible says after Adam lost the garden, he knew his wife again. For everyone, the Lord said to me, there are people here that they need to start to live again because of the toxicity, because of the pain of what they had gone through in the past. They are finding it difficult to move again. I speak to your life. Grace, move in the name of Jesus. Find life in the name of Jesus. Be restored. God heals without a scar. Let the healing be so real that the scars will become stars for you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you, precious Lord. In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you.
Amen.
Wow.
Amen and amen. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for honoring our invitation. We will definitely call you back again.
Not a problem. It's becoming a home for me, and that's a privilege. Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.